author's class.
My name is Kendall Gott. I go by Ken, by the way. 20-year Army veteran. 15 years as an Army historian at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. Retired a couple of years ago. Married to my wife. We're newlyweds, by the way. 3 years coming up. Small miniature dachshund. And we live on a small farm outside Leavenworth, Kansas. And where I spend my days reading and writing. It's kind of it's been something I used to earn a living doing. Now it's a hobby. I'm writing for myself now, not on anybody's deadline but my own. When I wrote one book on the Fort Donelson campaign. That's a Civil War battle. I wrote that in 2004. That was my first published work as a nonfiction. And when I became an Army historian at Fort Leavenworth, I was writing there as well as supervising a team of writers and editors and putting these things together. But I was on deadline, and it was topics that not necessarily I wanted to write about. These were assigned topics, and that's what we got to do. So that's really my first foray into the writing, is that 2004 book on Fort Donelson, and then went into it as making a living doing it. Well, I won't say it's an easy thing, but it's for me, it's easier than many other things. Like I make a terrible auto mechanic. Writing is easier than fixing a car. So it just, it's not a natural talent, but it's one that I enjoy. And I guess with auto mechanics, writing too is always a growing. You can't ever come and say I'm a great writer and then just kind of rest your laurels. So there's always something you could do better. For instance, when I read my books again for the second or third time after it's in print, I'm like, why did I say it that way? I wish I said it in a more streamlined fashion or used different words. By then it's really kind of too late, but I think many writers have that same feeling. It's kind of hard to go back and reread what you. Since childhood days, I always liked reading. Reading was, we didn't have video games and all that kind of stuff. Reading was watching the sunset. That's about all you could do during the evening. I'm not quite that old, but I feel like it sometimes. So I was always reading, and actually to think about putting it into writing, I don't know. When we were kids, we read picture books and we told stories a lot. The writing part, I don't think that really hit me until later in life. I was probably 35, 40 years old, something like that. Writing reports for the Army, I was pretty good at that, and I was quick. But of course, it's a whole different style of writing. But I was pretty good at that, so it became kind of a natural transition to go into writing for myself. Yes, a puppy. She, when I get on the keyboard, she wants to be up there. She wants to be on the keyboard. She doesn't like me focusing on the computer screen. She wants that attention. But a more serious reply to that, a challenge would be finding the right way to say things, the right phraseology. The research and writing, these are all historically based novels. That was fairly easy. Finding sources and information, that's easy. But molding that historical timeline and weaving your main character through it. You may be familiar with the movie Forrest Gump. He's meeting President Johnson. He's meeting President Kennedy. How did he get there? Well, the writer of that, he very expertly crafted the story so that Forrest Gump was in these right places. And that's, in these historical novels, that was a challenge I had, is how do I get these guys to be in this event that I want to describe over to this event that might be a long way away. And I solved that problem by putting him on a steamboat. It's mobile. Steamboats go to place to place. In other books, I use a wagon train. He's a mule spin. So I'm able to use the transportation and keeping him at a level in society where he's a captain by now in this book, but he started off as a deckhand. Well, fortunately, I'm retired, so I don't have an 8-to-5 job where I have to leave the house. I have the one thing I have that I think a lot of authors don't have is time. And my lovely wife works, so she's out of the house for 8 hours for most of the days. I have the dog, which is not really helpful. And she's getting better. She's getting older. But beyond that, I have time, and I could focus on things. If the lawn needs mowed, I could do that tomorrow. If I have a paragraph or a page a chapter I'm having difficulties with, I have the time. I could focus. First off, if you don't know your subject, you got to love it, and then develop the knowledge and background. If I was like plumbing, if I was going to write a book on plumbing, I might love plumbing, but I don't know anything about it. I got to find out about what that is, and because you're going to spend a lot of time and a lot of effort on writing a book, and if you don't like your subject, it's going to be painful. For those that are actually new to putting words on paper, get something down. It's easier to edit than it is to write. Get something down, and even if it's I recommend this to anyone. Have an outline of where you want to go with this stuff. But have an outline and just start. Even if you don't start from the top and work all the way down in your writing, you could say, okay, I know what I want in chapter 1. I wrote chapter 1. I don't know where I'm going with chapter 2. That's okay. Go to chapter 3, 4, or 5. If you have a story or a paragraph or something, just get it in there because you can edit it later. With the modern computer, the sky's the limit. You could go back and forth, cut and paste. You can imagine guys like Ernest Hemingway, Stephen Crane, those guys were writing with ballpoint pens, quill pens, or Underwood No. 5. They had to take a lot more serious thought of what they put down on paper before they did so, because it was very hard you can imagine a 300-page novel. They would have had to retype that thing a number of times to get it ready for a publisher to take a look at. And they had to take a lot more thought back then than we do now. I could wake up in the night and either write down a note or flip the computer on, get a thought down, and go back to bed. They couldn't do that. Not much what I write at 3 in the morning makes sense. I wake up with something, a dream, that's, wow, again, I have the time. A lot of folks don't have that luxury. This is Steamboat Seasons, Dawn of the New Era. It's available on Amazon. It's Goodreads and all the other retailers out there. Prices are fluctuating, so shop around a little bit. You don't want to pay too much for this, but it is out there.